Hello, loyal Babylon 5 watchers, and welcome to No Surrender, No Retreat, the Babylon 5 retrospective. This week on the program, we're looking at Season 4, Episode 6, Into the Fire. Oh, it's going to be fire. But before we get into that, before we talk about all that stuff, I have to introduce and welcome my co-host, the man who would love to put everyone's head on a pike. It's Cam. Say hello, Cam.
Good evening, Babylon 5 fans.
Yes, good evening. Good evening. Yes. I'm just looking here. It says we got 12 people watching off the bat. That's good. Hey, excellent. It seems like the watchers are looking forward to the show. That's good. Who do we got in the chat? Let me just highlight who's up, who's hanging out. Travis, good to see you. Looking forward to the show. Yes. Good. I think it'll be a good one. I think you're going to enjoy it. Keith Studley, he's the most studliest man on this channel. And again, good to see you. Who else? Inverse opinion. He's always got an opinion that is inverse to whatever everyone else has, right? All right, awesome. And of course, Weatherman is here, our most loyal viewer. Weatherman, thank you. We always appreciate you coming in here, making an appearance. I hope you enjoy the show. Who did I miss? Of course. Dave is here. Did I miss Dave's usual? Oh, yes, here it is, up at the top. Greetings from the Narn delegation. Of course, Dave sends greetings. Yeah, I missed that earlier. Sorry about that. And, Weatherman has gifted a membership. Thank you, Weatherman. We appreciate that. We appreciate the support. That's awesome. Love it. And that's everybody in the chat that has decided identify themselves. You can be a ninja watcher if you want. Keep quiet. That's perfectly fine. No problem. All right, Cam, do we have anything else you want to mention before we bring in our guests co-panelists?
No, I think we'll probably be a busy show today. So
yeah, it's a pretty good one. You got it's really hot here, muggy. We're not used to it. I'm drinking a beer. So yeah, getting for the show.
All right.
So what did you say? You said you want to guess what on this Canada Day, you want to guess what beer I'm drinking?
No, don't care at all. Let's bring the boys in.
Okay, great. All right. Look at this. You give the guy anyway. All right. Let's bring in our panelists. Of course, it's Death Angel Shadow, our other regular co-host who's always on the show. All right. Good to see you. And Q2 Madman, one of our regular co-panelists, and then our special co-panelist for today is Outpost Nerd. We've seen him for a couple weeks. He's been involved in the last couple shows.
What's up? What's up?
Good to see you, Outpost. All right.
Welcome all.
Good evening.
The Narn actually do something good this episode. I don't know. Is there any Narns in this episode?
Nobody else wants to show their face, huh? I guess I'm the only
wrong
one.
episode. Yeah. All right. Okay, let's get right into the show.
Well, can I bring up something? Business?
Madman has something.
Yeah, don't you have like some questions and stuff?
No. I have some business to take care of, and I'm a little perturbed, especially the event that happened today in New York City. If you haven't yet, and can you put up that panel? Because
yeah, sure.
I got, and I have to ask Death Angel Shadows, what is with this?
What?
What is it
doing your damn AI crap?
What is it when you woke up? You got two people climbing up the Empire State Building just so you can proclaim your love for World Cup?
Yeah, I mean, really? You're funny.
We know you're a soccer hooligan. We know you're a soccer hooligan.
Uh-huh. You know how many games of soccer I've watched in my life?
Too many to count.
Too many to count?
Every single one you can?
Yeah, I can count.
And of course, before we get started, we should update on soccer news. Today, England beat
my audio.
Congo 2-1.
Can't hear you.
Belgium beat Senegal 3-2. And of course, apparently the game is still going on. USA ahead of Bosnia-Herzegovina 2-0. I think it's into the last, extra time or whatever, injury time they call it. So it should be over soon. It's probably done by now. Anyway, Yeah. All right. That's just for Jeff. All right. Let's get back
If
into
you
the show.
say so.
Jeff has, he's wasted our time long enough here.
Yeah,
Let's do
exactly.
our trivia from last week. Last week from the Long Night, episode 5. Who does Emperor Cartagia kill in this episode? Who is an empty eye sees through to an empty heart? Spoken to. Who's that spoken to? Not who says it. What are the chains used to restrain Jakar made of? What planet in the Coriana system is the next one on target? And what is the name of the Waster captain that Sheridan asks if he is married? And of course, the answers are the court jester is the person that Cartagia has killed. Londo, the Jakar says that to Londo when he's in the cell. Jakar's chains, of course, are made of solid beryllium. Yeah, I mean that stuff's pretty strong. I know, I got it on the locks of my house.
Didn't work.
Guys, keep out the bad guys. It works, yeah. And
Didn't work.
Coriana 6 is the planet that the Vorlons are going to target, and where it features in this episode 2
billion.
And then, of course, Erickson is the Waster captain. His alternate name, of course, is Walter White. Yeah, so same actor, of course. Yeah. All right. So that's last week, and we'll get to, and at the end of the show, we will get to the trivia for this episode. All right. Cam, you want to get and do our quick summary, and then I'll go into the longer one?
Sure. Episode 71. I'm sorry, 72. Season 4, Episode 6, Into the Fire. Written by J. Michael Straczynski. Original air date, February 3rd, 1997. 406 production order. At the height of the Shadow War, Sheridan stages a final showdown between the Vorlons and the Shadows at Coriana 6.
All right, and the more detailed what happens in the episode, it starts off with Ivanova in a White Star searching for the first ones. We then cut to a battle scene. Sheridan is, as mentioned in the last episode, Sheridan is delaying the Vorlons to getting there so that everybody can, get sorted out. They destroy a Vorlon observation post, and he looks out and sees his fleet and says the titular line for this episode. He says, "Mr. Lanier, take us into the fire." And then, of course, we cut to.
And then they play Dokken music.
They cut to the intro, right? So there's basically two things more going on here: all the stuff on Centauri Prime, and the Vorlon Shadow War with Sheridan. So I'm going to go through the Centauri stuff first. We find out in the first scene after the credits that from Marcus talking that there's going to be no help for Londo. All the ships, of course, are going to go to Coriana 6, and the Centauri are on our own. We have Londo, installed as the prime minister, taking control. He, he's giving orders, saying he wants to see the intelligence people, various ministers. And later, though, the intelligence minister comes to him and basically tells him that Rifa didn't have Adira killed. It was Morden. Londo gets angry and destroys the furniture in his place. Later, Londo summons Morden. He shoots the two shadows that are beside him, which he can't see, but of course he knows they're there. And eventually, when Morden refuses for the shadows to leave, he blows up the island and destroying all the shadow ships. Later, Londo gives Veer a little bit of present, which is Morden's head on a pike. We think that, Centauri Prime is saved, everything's good to go. But then these ships come into Centauri Prime. It's obviously the big planet killer from the Vorlons. But what what Londo doesn't know is that at that same time, the battle has been going on Coriana 6, and the Vorlons have sent out a message just before this, calling all their ships back for this fight. Veer and Londo are panicking. They're talking about, hey, we've gotten rid of all the shadow influence on Centauri Prime. There shouldn't be anybody here. And Veer says, well, there is somebody. It's you. You were under the influence of them. They're like, oh, no. He tells Veer to kill him. But before Veer can kill him, or before they can deal with that, the Vorlons turn and go away. Everything's good and happy. There's another scene where Veer and Londo are talking about being happy and mentioning they are going to go back to Babylon 5. And they share a nice little hug at the end there, too.
Aww.
Yeah, it's serious. All right, Weatherman, thanks for coming by. Feel better. Now, on the Sheridan side, we have a little bit of discussion of Sheridan talking about keeping his promise to Ivanova. She wants to be in the fight. We have a big discussion between Lauren and Ivanova, very philosophical. Lorian saying, hey, you got to understand your way out of this. And life, to talk a little bit about immortality and life being short. I'm sure we can talk about that in detail later. I thought it was a pretty good little discussion. Later, we've got Ivanova, the Shadows, the Vorlons. They all arrive about the same time. Sheridan, the Shadows and Vorlons basically ignore the humans and all the other League of Non-Aligned Worlds. They start fighting each other, but Sheridan has put some nukes on asteroids to, quote, get their attention, and he fires those nukes, and he gets their attention. And at that point, he calls in the other first ones to help him out with his battle. And of course, that's when the Vorlons call for the rest of their fleet to come back from Centauri Prime. The Vorlons and the Shadows talk through Lita. They zap Sheridan, and one zaps Sheridan, the Vorlons, and the Shadows zap Delin, and we go to a sort of a outer worldly little bit. Their minds are somehow transferred, and they're speaking to each of those respective groups. In the Delin one, the people talking to her appear as members of the crew, herself, Franklin, all these other various characters. There's this big discussion about what's going on. Sheridan confronts them both and says, hey, you both want to see the other wrong. This is all about ego. You are, and he rejects this, and it's set up so that everyone else in the fleet, all the other races, can all see exactly their discussion and what's happening. He mentions that the Vorlons and the Shadow have both lost their way, and they're trapped in a cycle. They seem to get angry about this. They surround Sheridan. They fire at them, try to shoot him down, but other ships in the fleet come and put themselves in the way, so get destroyed instead. Sheridan tells them there's no need for them. They're not guardians anymore. We're not children. The Vorlons express the fear of being alone. And then Lorian says, hey, we're all going to leave. All the first ones are going to leave. The Vorlons, Shadows, and all the other ones that are left. And he himself is going to leave. And the final scene is them returning to Babylon 5, him talking about we're now into the third age, and there's a nice shot of Babylon 5. It looks pretty cool from the window of the White Star. And that's about the whole episode. Cam, I turn it over to you.
Okay, well, there's two clear segments here. We've got the main battle with the Shadow War, and then we have the Centauri Prime thing, and of course those go back and forth a little bit. I'm going to suggest we talk first about Ivanova and kind of the setup stuff instead of just going into either the Centauri Prime or the other one. So let's start there. This is where Ivanova and Lorian are on the White Star looking for the first ones, and they had this conversation about immortality and such, which I thought was pretty interesting. I remember this coming earlier, I guess, when I from back when I watched it, but it's right here at the end. Let's see, Madman, you want to comment?
Yeah, well, there are two levels to this point where she's on the White Star first. That basically, they're looking for the end, and said, "Listen, we're going to be here 10, 15 more minutes." It says, and he talks about patience and being impatient. The universe, the universe and thing on that. I tell you, Lorien, he'll throw you some philosophy on there. Later on when they get back to Babylon 5, I like the line that he says, because he explains that basically, yeah, he was first, and Vanova says, of all the things, you created, the fire, the wheel, immortality, and all that. He says, no, we were born this way, and that we were, at first the universe, kept our birth rate low, and then the universe figured out that basically, to appreciate life, life has to be short, which is a great thing. But the best line I like, because she's saying about, he tells Ivanova, she says, me and my heart don't speak. He says, well, I've noticed that. And he goes, only those whose lives are brief can imagine that love is eternal. You should embrace that remarkable illusion. It may be the greatest gift your race has ever received. I think that is pretty strong from this character. And considering what Ivanova has gone through, the emotions that she's gone through in the last 4 seasons on this, and and all the issues that she's gone through, her mother, knowing about her mother, and all her father dying, and all the things, throughout the season on there going on, and then now we're going into what possibly you might not come back from. And here's Lorien saying, hey, you got to embrace what you got. You got to embrace the great gift that the universe gave you.
Do you find it strange that he said, though, embrace the illusion? So basically, yes, embrace something that's not real.
Yeah, exactly. It's really that, because when you talk about that and you're saying, well, love is eternal. Love is that love is, you could say it's a word, and love between two people to the situation, but it's not something that you can grab, that you could, something that you could put in your pocket or anything like that. Love is, it, like he says, it's eternal. It's something in the universe itself that's very powerful.
Jeff, what do you think?
Well, I kind of appreciated the little conversation. Ivanova was very, very skeptical, obviously. She's like, so hypothetically, let's say this, that and she's like being definitely the ultimate, I don't know what a good word is. Skeptic. Yeah, there you go. That's exactly what she's doing. And she's like, well, yeah, okay. Well, why? And she's like, got all these questions for him. Well, so who are you? And of course, I thought it was fascinating that Lorien does go into the explanation about that his race was or started off immortal, and as time went on, generations down the line, they became more and more fallible to disease and illness and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I took that to mean his own species.
Yes, he was the first. Mm-hmm. and I kind of got that almost like Adam or Methuselah, or that type of vibe with it. That he lived a very, very long time compared to the modern, the newer races, the younger races.
Yeah, he says that it's barring sickness or accident or something, to the nature. They
could die. They weren't immortal.
They weren't really immortal.
It was a different type of immortal than we're usually used to seeing in stories like this.
Right.
It's not like the Highlander kind of immortal. It's the just like long. It's more long. It's more.
It's like elves from Tolkien, really, where they can be killed, but
yeah.
That's a good comparison.
Yes, I and Lorien, I think the name comes from it's a kind of name you would hear as in an elf in Lord of the Rings. Now that I think about it,
well, Lorien is directly in Lord of the Rings.
It's Lothlorien in Lord of the Rings. You're right.
Yeah, but I think there's a character that was named Lorien as well. I'd have to double check that, but
in my studies, I've heard, I don't remember, and I've studied it a lot. But
I will double check.
Yeah.
But a lot of that is also rooted in a lot of the stuff that Tolkien himself did was rooted in other stories. I mean, he was,
He was a
professor.
he was a
It was a
professor
linguist professor, and
of literature at
yeah,
Oxford.
Yeah, one of the, sorry, just real quick. One of the Valar has
Yes,
one of his names is Lorien Ermo.
yes, of course. Now I remember. Thank you.
Yeah.
Um,
And remember, note how he describes the generations that he's lived through. This is similar, and I got Cam on this. The Free Ren animated series. It's kind of similar to that point. Free Ren, she's walking that same path.
Yeah, your perspective is way different when you're immortal and you
Yeah,
see.
exactly. It's way different. Love doesn't come into play. Setting down roots or anything that normally we go through as being human. He
Well,
he
just
doesn't see that. He
a
just
perfect
goes where he wants to go.
going
Yeah, go ahead.
through with a prime example of that in Tolkien, and this is a part of the Lord of the Rings, not Tolkien, but in Rings of Power. Remember how Durin was so angry at Elrond when he arrived in Moria because he'd been gone for 50 years, and he did, and he's like, you missed the birth of my children. You didn't come to my wedding. You missed all these things in my life. It may not be long for you, but it's a lifetime for a dwarf. And you see Elrond's like complete and utter confusion. He's like 50 years. That's like a few days for me. He didn't understand it.
it's perspective.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen this repeated throughout sci-fi too. I mean, if you look at like Voyager, you remember the first couple of seasons of Voyager, you had Kess, and
Yeah, she was only
her species only lived 7 years.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Sorry, go ahead.
what I want to say about this scene, I noticed a recurring theme with Susan. When it gets personal, she gets almost hostile. Like you can see her just in her face, in her brows, in like her eyes and her eyebrows. It's like that shield goes up. When Lorien starts talking about me, talking to your heart, listening to your heart, her shield goes right up.
Yeah.
She gets very like you could see she's
Closed.
very she closes herself off. She's like, are you, she's like, now let me ask you this, blah, 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 blah. That's when she goes into her questioning. She's trying to turn the conversation off of her back onto Lorien.
She's
trying to change the dynamic of the
change
conversation.
the subject.
Yeah,
good point.
The other thing I don't know if you guys found it strange is even though she isn't like open with him as she isn't with anyone really, the scenes were kind of just like, oh yeah, it's just her and Lorien, as if it was someone that they're just used to having around. Did you guys, that seem strange to you at all?
Well, I think at this point, she's kind of accepted that, she's got faith in Sheridan, and she doesn't know why Sheridan trusts Lorien, but she's got faith enough in Sheridan himself that I think, she's just kind of accepted that he's going to be around for a while, and and he has been around for a little while, right? I mean, how many?
Well,
a few days.
Interesting you say that. Really, not much at all. How
many episodes?
It was 6.
Yeah.
So again, from when I originally watched it, I remember it being a long time, or feeling like a long time, and it's here and gone very quickly.
Chronologically, time-wise, from the timestamps. That's what I'm curious as to how long.
I think
Lorien
it's
was
been
there.
just like a few weeks since he's returned from Zahadun.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think you're right, Outpost, because originally Delenn had planned to attack Zahadum in like a week or something, and then Sheridan came back, and they might have delayed that a little bit, but not a whole lot. I mean, I think it's probably less than 2 weeks since Sheridan has come back.
Yeah, it hasn't been long.
Well, 4 episodes, right? So
yeah,
if an episode is a week of real time, then it would have been maybe a month. But
I think at this point, from Emerson going off, it's only been like 2 or 3 days. So between this episode and last episode, just a few days.
Okay, let's. We've got some stuff we want to cover at the end, so I want to move on, and anybody can return to a point if they want.
Sure.
We get this. I'm sorry, I skipped Snob completely here. Snob,
yeah,
do you have
get
anything in
him.
particular to say?
No, you guys covered it. My one point I was going to make, which Jeff brought up, is the it immediately mentioned. It seemed to me the whole Bible thing, where they talk about how so and so was 800 or 900 years old, and then we're a lot less now. Most people say, oh well, they counted whoever wasn't 900 years old, and Methuselah. It's just they counted time differently, and you often hear that. To explain it, but I don't know that this is an interesting explanation as well.
I think there's another point in here, not to dismiss your point, but that again, some religious traditions, at least, Adam was created perfectly, right? Just the same way that you can see Lorien being created perfectly in the sense he's immortal, doesn't die, so on and so forth.
Right.
And so there is that little bit of extra parallel there, I think, in turn, not in regards to just lifespan, but okay. So
let's answer Dave's question here. I think this is the first ones are my understanding is that they're each a different species. Lorien is the only one of his species, and that's why there's all the other 6. Their ships are all different.
Yeah,
so they're different species. They're older, or the same age as the Shadows and the Vorlons.
And these are just the remaining first ones.
Right.
There were many more.
So that means that there's 8, right? Is that right? So you've got the 6.
Well, there could be more.
The 6 first ones that they found,
they're all gone.
plus the Vorlon and the Shadows, right? But then he's the very first one, so that would be 7 or 8. No, 9.
Well, but
there's others that have.
But there's many other
gone.
races that have come and gone already in between.
They've already crossed over,
right? Including some that were younger than the Shadows and the Vorlons.
Yeah,
the one we meet beginning. Remember, Lorien says they're almost as old as the Vorlons.
Right.
The one race that the last race, the 6th one that they waited for. That
So what I'm guessing is it's Lorien in the hierarchy of the old ones. It's Lorien on top, as the oldest. The Vorlon and the Shadows are probably the equal age, and then you have these other ones that they find over the last 2 episodes, maybe just slightly younger than them.
No, I think they're older. No, those ones that have been hidden, like the Sigma 359, those are older.
No,
the
because
Vorlons and the Shadows will be the next level below.
No, because he specifically said, Lorien actually said that the 6th race that they were waiting was almost as old as the Vorlons.
Okay, but he's only referring to that one.
Yeah,
we don't know what the other ones are, but we do. As I recall, the Madman, the one you were talking about, is when Ivanova was kind of taunting them. They're like, the Shadows and the Vorlons, as if maybe they looked down on them, which might indicate that they were older, but I don't know that for sure. But we do know for sure that this 6th one was a little younger.
Sigma, the aliens of Sigma 359, they're the ones that what's her name? Sinclair's love interest goes in. Runs across in the first season.
Yes,
that they go all the way. They're the ones that Jakar does this really good analogy of like what we are to an ant, we are to the old ones.
Yeah,
sure. Okay, so just another quick, they mentioned, Sheridan did mention that they have thousands of ships in the fleet that they're going to Coriana 6. And then we have this scene with Marcus and Lita that I kind of missed it. I guess they were talking about the mining of the asteroids or whatever, right?
Can I put 2 cents on this?
Sure.
It's not the first, not the second, but it's the 3rd time. Do you think Sheridan has an obsession with nuclear weapons?
Dude,
he does.
Why would you change
he took out a Minbari ship. Then he takes out the Shadow's home city, and now he ends up bringing a couple of more to this battle.
Yeah, and I want to discuss that when we get to the use of them because I found that a little odd. But okay, let's see. Maybe we should shift over to the Centauri Prime stuff now because it's kind of in the setup zone still. So we've got Londo as the prime minister. They've arrived back at Centauri Prime, and they're moving quickly here. Londo again calls for all the the relevant ministers and to purge Carthage's men from the palace.
Yeah.
Again, waiting to get backstab. He mentions that, and then he he has them find Mr. Morden. And then
Who's miraculously healed.
Well, he had been
He's been
healing, and
the
he
past
mentioned it.
episodes.
But yeah, it seems to have stepped up really quickly from the last
Right.
time we saw him. He's in old fighting shape there.
And then, of course, we see Damian London back in again as the little minister, the little
Oh, yes.
Always my least favorite character.
Really? I kind of, he's growing on me.
No, I always
Because
get
he's-
creepy vibes from him. Like you do things in your room that is frowned upon. I'm
Okay.
sure.
Um,
Even Cartagia would say something about
Yeah.
him.
I love that character. He's great. He's the
I
perfect
thought-
example
Okay, so
of a quisling.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we have this scene with the intelligence minister with Londo, and I thought this. I'll just kind of give my comments first. I thought that it was slid in here very nicely, and the way that the intelligence minister plays this out was really great because Londo, initially suspected that he was going to try and blackmail him or whatever, but the guy was actually good. It's like he's just good at his job, right? He's bringing the intelligence to who he's supposed to. And at one point that was Cartagia, but now he says Cartagia's gone, so he brings the whole story to Londo. Doesn't try to pressure him or anything. Londo, of course, reacts very badly and sends him away, and then has this whole scene, which I thought was very well performed by Peter Jurasik. Because I felt the rage there, So let's start with Outpost. Let's start with you. What did you think about this whole interaction and Londo?
I love the cinematography of that scene.
Yeah.
How it's almost like the camera only had a general idea of what Peter was going to do. Because, this is the one time I think we've seen in the entire series Londo losing control. He is beyond angry. He is beyond hurt. Because he realizes he's been played the whole time. He's been played like a fiddle. The entire time his dealings with the Shadow, we thought he's in control. But really, he was played.
Well, excellent point. And the minister even mentions it specifically. It's like he identified why Morden would have done that. It's like, yeah, so you would go back to him. I mean, he had it right on the money,
Yeah. I loved how it was almost like I said, how the camera was very jerky because just showing the chaos. It reflected the chaos of the emotions in the scene, almost to the point like I wonder if there were any takes with Peter throwing something and hitting the camera or hitting, just going like getting out of control to the point like and having to pull it back a little bit.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because you're right. The camera work was excellent for this to emphasize the chaotic and the rage of it all.
I mean, this was the one. He's had Londo's had 3 wives, but they were all marriages of convenience. This was the woman he truly loved,
And he wasn't judgmental at all about it.
Oh, did you notice how the minister, the intelligence minister was? And Londo shut that down fast.
No, I got the feeling that he wasn't judgmental. He's like, I'm not here to judge.
No. He was. I think he was very judgmental because Londo was like, I can't remember what is the character. What was the woman's name?
Adira.
Londo calls her Lady Adira, and he's like, I don't think she was much of a lady.
Well, she was a stripper.
Well, but he explained that though. He basically
Londo shot that down really fast.
Yeah.
He resisted it, but the guy explained himself. He's like, I'm just being precise. It's like
details are in everything, as was just said by Huda.
You have to be a spy master like that.
Yeah.
Details are in the job.
Right.
But it was one of my favorite scenes in the episode.
And the thing is that Cartagia kept it quiet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
told him not to tell her. As
He
long
told
as,
him not
he said,
to
as
tell
long
him.
as I'm alive, don't tell Londa.
Cartagia, not stupid, right?
No,
Not stupid.
Crazy,
he may
but
have
not
been
stupid.
crazy, but he was
Insane.
not stupid.
Jeff, what do you think about this whole scene?
I actually thought it was done really, really well. I think the person that played the minister, and I think I have his name written down here somewhere, Durano. The Minister of Intelligence is Durano. Yeah, and I think he did a great job playing it. Just I'm here to give you information. This is my job. You're not going to like the information that I'm going to give you, but these are the facts, and everything's in the details, and I can provide you a report for you to review. And Wanda got a little snippy with him, but I think he kind of anticipated that because he's the intelligence minister and probably already knows that that's probably Wanda's type, personality type. So,
Played me like a puppet.
Yes, and I thought that was just, the scene that he gave, with everything was just was great. It was just he was straightforward presenting the information, and then that was it. And he's like, just leave, and you can go now. And then he tears apart the room, and I thought,
but you notice where he falls
Right
next to the table.
Yes.
And I don't know if JMS did it purposely, but there's a picture of Londo on there of Better Days.
Yes. Was that one that Adira gave him?
I don't know, but it's like
or
the picture. If you look at the picture, it's like he's very prim, proper in the picture and all that. It's like it's showing that there were better days, and that now this whole situation with Mr. Morden and all that has driven him mad in a way.
Yeah. Man, anything else you got to say about that?
Him tearing that room apart, it was like, holy, again, like you're saying before, I'm surprised that the camera did not get hit by anything he was throwing against the room, or maybe it might have been they just edited it out, but it was a perfect scene. The minister was perfect to this point, and he's like, leave me, and the minister's like, okay, I'm out of here.
Not a problem.
He just walked out, proper. But it was a great scene. And, Peter, if we get Peter back on again, we gotta talk to him about that scene.
Yes.
Yeah, and the whole Cartagia storyline. I'd love to hear more about that. Yeah. Snob, what do you think?
Yeah, you guys pretty much covered everything. I mean, the thing that I agree with Outpost, the thing that about the scene was very much the camera work that jumped out on me. It's obviously they're using a handheld cam, and just from the way that the shots are taken, the chaoticness of it, it's obvious. I think the director told Londa, Peter, to just go around, smash around, and because it comes in, it comes out, you see half his face at certain parts. The cameraman didn't know exactly where he was going to go, and just was like, try to capture as much as you can. So they very much, another technique to get the chaoticness of it, and the anger of Londo and how he feels about it. So yeah, well done. And I thought the minister was great too. That's the first Centauri we've seen that's actually good at their job and isn't sneaking around and trying to. It's funny, the intelligence minister is the only guy who seems the most honest and competent, and is not out for himself somehow. But
he takes his job seriously.
Interesting. Yeah. The rest of them don't seem to. It's interesting, but anyway.
Okay, let's go right on. Let's stick with the Centauri here, and go to this. So this is one of the scenes that I said just wait or something. Way back in season 2. I've been waiting for this one, where he brings Morden in. He has the guards drag Morden in roughly, and Morden, of course, is not used to this kind of treatment, and Londo, tells him, hey, Vorlon ships are on the way, and get written, tell the shadows to leave. And
they're planet killers on the they're planet killers on the way.
And Morden sticks with the whole thing. It's like they wouldn't do that. And
Which
then
I find kind of odd.
Yeah, it's a good question whether Morden really believes that. I mean, he's on the planet.
Well, I mean, Londo even so much as go. You're scared. I think for the first time, I think you're actually scared. You know.
Well, wouldn't
Well-
they have like intelligence reports showing the Vorlon doing what they've been doing?
Yeah, yeah, right. That's you would think that Morden would know that, but then again, he's fully, he's doing what the shadows are telling him, and if they say, "Hey, no, this," he's gonna go along with it.
Well, and he's got minders with them as we.
Well, yeah. Let's go ahead talk about that, Jeff. So,
Well, we've
well,
always seen that. We've
yeah,
always seen them with them.
Let me finish the little bit of the thing here where so Morden again refuses. It's just like, no, I'm not going to do it. And then Londo goes to his end game here. Jeff, you want to describe it with the minders and everything?
Sure. So he says he tells him to stand very still.
I like the guards that they just whoop and the guards.
The other two guards, the guards in the back, just kind of step away, and you get this sense that something's about to happen, and you don't know what it is. And then, of course, the two guards on either side of Londo fire to either side of Mr. Morden. They don't strike Morden. They strike, of course, the shadows that are his keepers, his minders.
Yeah, and you see them kind of flash in a little bit.
Yep. And ultimately they're gone, and he makes the ultimate threat. Now that we can speak in private,
We're going to have to.
I'm going to give you another
think that
chance.
over.
I'm going to give you another chance to do the right thing, right? Basically, is what it comes up to.
I love the line of the lines between Morden and Londo. Morden says to him, "You're insane, or you're out of your mind, Malari." And he has one of the coolest, coldest lines in rebuttal. He's like, "Any other day, you'd be wrong." I love that line.
But today,
yeah,
you're not.
And again, then there's this. They continue this exchange where he's Morden says, "Well, you're going to lose or whatever." Basically, if you try to take us on here, and there's discussion of the ships are on the ground, but they will detect them coming from far away.
Right.
Well, I think that's why he wasn't worried much, because those shadow vessels can jump up, and immediately. It's not like let's take off. Take about 5 minutes to take off.
Yeah, they would detect any incoming air assault or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
He says, "Yeah, you're right. Unfortunately, he said, but they're still on the ground." And he pulls out the little remote, and you can see Morden's face.
And it's not one, it's not two, but it's three nukes.
He feels the death. He feels it. It's almost like Morden is having a physical reaction to the ships and the shadows dying.
Yeah, he probably has some sort of psychic connection to them. Or something.
Sure. And I love the fact that it was Londo who pulled the trigger.
Yeah,
it was he. I don't think Londo would have asked any other person to do that. He felt he had to do it. The idea it was the sacrifice he had to make. He has to live with. Because do you realize after the scenes afterwards? I might be jumping ahead a little bit. What is he doing in every scene afterwards? He's just chugging. He's chugging champagne. Yeah. He's drinking. He's trying to forget this.
Yeah.
Well,
I was going to say though that the one line or the one conversation that he has afterwards, he says, "Unfortunately, you left me no choice, but fortunately, the vast majority of the people were evacuated last night, and the ones that remained understood what they were volunteering for."
Yeah, and
but
this
we
is
had
that.
To put up the appearance that things were normal.
Right. Yeah, and exactly. This is again that same. We mentioned this a couple of episodes ago. This same kind of thing that Straczynski has done several times. Again, like the White Star 14 getting destroyed. It's like the sacrifice thing, and he's mentioned it. The Churchill thing where they didn't tell the people to evacuate. In this case, they did, but Straczynski loves this bit. He really does.
He talks specifically about that thing from World War II.
Yeah.
So
Snob. I'm sorry. Let's just finish the rest of what happened here. So obviously they blow up, as Madman mentioned, 3 nukes. Now they mentioned the island. They show the island, but there was another landmass kind of close to it. It's like I wonder what's going to happen with all that. But who knows? Maybe these are more. I don't know. Maybe they're.
I'm
remote
wondering if they're actually when they say nukes, since it's like what 400 or 500 years into the future, or something. I wonder if they're the nukes that like how we think of it, that they leave radiation. Like
Yeah,
that.
it might be somewhat different.
what more like a neutron bomb type of thing?
Yeah, like a clean bomb or something
Yeah.
instead of a dirty bomb. That's what I always thought, because we mentioned it last week. It's almost like Italy and Sicily in when you see that shoe-like landmass to the west of the island.
Right.
It's always reminded me of like Italy and Sicily.
Well,
Right.
if you notice, it's like even the throne room shaked when
Yeah.
the explosions happened. So it must have been felt all over Centauri Prime.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and then we've got Morden issues a threat here. Is it where he talks about they have allies and such, and you won't get away with this. You'll pay. Centauri Prime will pay. And so that's interesting. And then of course we get to the scene with Veer. Madman, do you want to talk about any comments on this whole interaction?
Oh,
with Morden?
well, before or the Veer thing?
You go into that if you want.
Okay. I love this scene because we're flashing back to when Veer and Morden had that discussion on the table. Veer walks in and Londo's like, Veer, glad you're here. Got a present for you in the back garden. Go right ahead. Go. I'll be right there in a little bit. He goes out, looks up, and flashback to what do you want, Veer? He says, I just want to see your head on a spike, telling that, favors come at a high price. I just want to look up into your eyes and just wave. And then he zooms out. There's Morton's head on a pike right up there. And what does Veer do?
He waves.
And he waves and he smiles and relaxes right there. But see, here's the thing that gets me on this. And this is off screen and probably we'll bring it up on quarterback.
Yeah.
That they didn't just chop his head. They had to have eviscerated him.
Oh, I'm sure.
Well, Londo did say, I haven't begun with you.
Yeah, I haven't begun with you. They tortured him first, then eviscerated, and then decapitated him.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. They. I'm sure they did to him what he described that they would do to Jakar.
Yeah, exactly.
And I thought that the whole wave was the flashback was awesome, and the wave was just. I was
Veer
like,
got what he wanted.
Was I the only one that was sitting there going, yes, 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 they're gonna.
I was crying. Morden's one of my favorite characters.
Really?
You are sick in the head.
I was celebrating. I was like,
Morden's
yes,
a great bad
finally.
guy. He was a great bad guy there.
For me, it was like when they finally got rid of Joffrey and
or the crazy religious bitch in the movie The Mist. If y'all have ever seen that, me and my friends, we watched that and started cheering when she died.
Well, Hoot Owl says it best: the end of Peter Baelish.
Yeah.
In Game of
But
Thrones.
yeah, I agree. This was this is another perfect scene in that it's just how like a lot of sci-fi shows, they have a scene and a plot point in one episode and they never acknowledge it again. But this is where Babylon 5 stands out compared to any other sci-fi show, in my opinion. See, they have plots that overarch entire seasons sometimes. For even like plot points in the second season won't be resolved to the third or fourth season. And this was one that we saw last season finally getting resolved. And I just love the little smirk that Veer gives and just the little wave. I loved it.
He kind of chuckles to himself right before he waves. He's
remember, he looks around because remember the guards are standing there. He looks around and sees if they're paying attention, and just kind of in front of him, so the guards don't see. He waves at him.
Yeah, I do want to know. I like that Morden was restored here because it made his
Yeah, it
fall
had to.
even
He had
better.
to.
You know.
And you know what the thing about it is? If you remember the story of the flower and the guard and the flower, where there used to be a flower there, and the princess of the daughter of the king had said put a guard there, and hundreds of years later there was a guard there, no flower, and they say why was that? You know that Londo explains on there. Could you imagine? 100 years, 200 years from now, there's a guard standing there and the head's gone and everything like that. Why is there a guard standing here next to a pike that there's no head on or
I
something like
expect,
that?
since we know Veer is destined to be emperor. I'm expecting. I would expect him to have something put up in that place once the head actually decomposes when he becomes emperor. Just keep as a reminder, like he
Well,
says.
we'll get to that because I had some questions about that whole outcome.
Well, speaking of that, Londo, just casually sat on the emperor's throne.
He did.
And
Yes,
the minister's like, oh,
felt
It's so
natural.
casual.
He felt very natural, and Veer's just like, yeah, you look good. It's I love that little scene. I love that. I meant to mention that earlier.
That whole Centauri interaction in that section of the episode was just fantastically done from beginning to end.
yeah,
on that.
absolutely. Snob, what do you think about the Morden scene?
Yeah, I mean, you guys covered pretty much most of it there. I'm gonna veer into a little bit of into a little bit of. I wonder if would Londo have done this? Like, what if? I mean, I'm kind of curious about. You know, Londo is at the beginning. He is. We would assume he wants revenge, right, from that scene. Now he doesn't show any hatred of Morden during the scenes. He seems very business like it's an all. He doesn't show any of that. I'm curious as to what he like. Let's say that Morden said, "Okay, sure, we'll leave. We don't want to have any trouble for Centauri Prime," and then he had left, right? Which not likely, but would he had still done that to Morden? Would he have still wanted to kill him? Would he have still like how? That's the only thing I'm curious about this. This scene is how Londo really, how angry he was about it and how revengeful he was. Is he doing this because of revenge or just because he's he needs to do it? Because
I think
it's portrayed as just normal. Like we don't say any hint of vengeance in what he's doing at all.
Well, I think Londo was taking care of business first, and then because even when it was then he's like, and now you're gonna, it's like business is over. Now you're gonna get the vengeance.
Yeah, there was
and that's I think that's my point. The only hint I guess that we have, he's like, when he tells Morden, takes him to the cell and he goes, I've just begun to deal with you. But even then, it's said it's not like he doesn't seem angry about it. It's more like, hey, this is something I have to do. It's kind of detached.
No, I don't think it's detached. This is a cold, seething anger. Have you ever experienced someone so angry they whisper? Like yelling, this is beyond like yelling angry with Londo right now. He knows he has what he has to do. He again is putting himself second to the safety and security of Centauri Prime and the people. So I don't think this isn't about revenge right now. The whole blowing up thing, it was going to happen either way.
Cold and calculating.
Well, he did have to take care of Morden, at least in his mind,
But
right?
that was after. That was all after.
Yes.
This was after he had dealt with the shadow and thought he had the influence cleaned off of Centauri Prime.
And
right. I mean, we know that Morden was very touched by Shadow. So the implication was, I'm going to take care of him in the best way possible and give Veer a present, what he always wanted. And I don't know if did Veer ever tell Londo?
We don't know. That's speculating. I think
that conversation. Yeah.
That's speculation. That's probably something that if it happened off screen.
Well, we know that he knew that Veer didn't like him at least.
Yes.
From the very beginning. Now, one note I want to say about this is, bearing in mind that Londo is an experienced diplomat and he knows how to keep his crap together for the public, for the court.
Right.
which he was. So I thought that was actually a good portrayal. Whereas Snob, I get the feeling that you thought it was maybe a little off.
No, I don't. I don't think it's off or on per se. I'm just interested at the choices. And remember when he whispers, "Oh, when he kind of says, "Oh, I've just begun to deal with you," or "I've not finished dealing with you yet." There's no one else there, so he's just kind of saying it to himself.
That's for us.
And yeah, it's for us, and he's kind of saying it to himself. And he doesn't seem to me when I watch the way that the actor's portraying it. It doesn't seem, it's cold, but it's not really cold. It's not ice cold. It's sort of more resigned and sort, like, oh, I'm not done dealing with you. Like he almost has to do it, and not that he is taking any, great joy in it. Maybe some joy, but it's just more resigned. That's the way I saw it. But yeah.
This I think is the first time that we see Londo in control of the situation when dealing with. He was always kind of, I don't want to say on his back foot, but there were always machinations and plans in the background to control Londo that we saw. And like I said earlier about his episode in his room, that was the first time we've seen Londo let loose and go get angry. Even when he was dealing with Rifa in the hologram, he was very controlled in his anger.
Well, that's why it's interesting, because he is obviously very upset. I mean, he freaks out and he destroys everything. But then, less than 12 hours later, he's very much, back to the cold, calculating diplomat. I thought that was an interesting portrayal of
before we move on, I have a question that I thought after this scene with the two shadow handlers. Do y'all think that he had handlers while he was on Babylon 5? Like there were shadows?
He did. We've seen
definitely
He did. We've seen him.
Yeah.
Did we?
Yes, there was actually the one
Absolutely.
scene when Morden was being held, and they did like the visual change, and you could actually suddenly see them. We actually complained about that being a once and never happened again thing, where they actually managed to catch what the shadows look like.
Okay.
Remember when Morton was being held?
And of course, when they attacked,
I remember
Kosh as well, they were there. But I think someone at one point said they're always with him.
Yes.
I don't remember who that was though.
Delenn.
Okay.
He's never alone. She said he's never alone.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, let's go to jump back a little bit where we see the White Star task force attacking the Vorlon observation post.
Yeah.
That was right before they succeed at that. They did lose some ships, it looked like, but Sheridan was pleased with it, and that's when he mentioned they had thousands of ships. And then so they're waiting here. This is they mentioned that they got rid of that so they couldn't be observed, but then the Vorlon and the Shadow fleets arrive, and there's an immense amount of Shadow ships. They showed a lot of Vorlon ones as well, but they started. Okay, this is the thing that confuses me. They did start engaging each other, the Shadows and the Vorlons.
Yeah, they were going after. They were basically ignoring the fleet of the.
Right. They mentioned that they ignored
races.
them. Yeah, and then Sheridan detonates the bombs, which causes them to come after them. I'm like, why would you do that? Because he had said previously that they're not going to win.
He wanted their attention. He wanted them to talk.
Okay, but I understand that. But he was also going to he was trying to have Lita contact them, and there was no. I didn't see the point of risking all their own ships at that point. Let them fight.
Let them wipe the majority of each other out.
Yeah,
and
let them weaken.
But
them.
also, the Vorlons were still moving towards the planet in the middle when the fight. So he was wanting to take, again, it's the ant analogy. What is the best way for an ant to get your attention? To bite you.
Bite you, yeah.
Well, remember what Lorian said earlier, that Sheridan is forcing the issue.
Yes.
That's what he's doing now. Whether he's successful, of the situation, or end up burning in fire, it's you know
Otherwise, we're just in this cycle, this 1,000-year
Yeah.
cycle.
Well,
where
I got to
it's-
say something about the interaction between Lorian and Susan when they're on the bridge. It is so funny to me. It's like he says something along the line. Sheridan knows, but I hope he knows, and they give each other this look.
Mhm.
It's like at the same time, like Susan gives him that super skeptical look, and Lorian's like maybe thinking I could have explained that a little better. It's just it makes me chuckle every time when I watch that scene, just because they do that same thing. They just look at each other at the same time. It is so funny.
and it was Sheridan knows the answer, knows what he's doing. The question, does he know that he knows what he's
Does he
doing?
know
In other
he
words,
knows the answer? Yeah.
yeah. So,
It makes me chuckle.
and I think the thing is if you let the Vorlons and the Shadows destroy most of each other, then you're not going to break the cycle,
Yes,
because they're
that's
going to
the
go
thing.
away, and you have to break the cycle for
Well,
the younger races.
I'm not saying it's the end of it. I'm saying why risk your own ships? There was nothing. If they were half destroyed, he could have still done what he did.
But Outpost, as he pointed out, they're still moving in to destroy this planet.
Okay, well let's get to that for a second here. First of all, I neglected to say that Susan did show up with Lorian, obviously, and then
Yes.
Lorian went over to the Sheridan's White Star, and then Marcus came over to hers. And so then this battle is raging, and then they decide to call in the first ones to go after the planet killer because it was moving in. They wanted to hold them back, but they decided they couldn't risk destroying the planet. And Sheridan did try to contact them, and communicate with the Vorlons, and they just ignored him. And then he asked Lita to try and get a hold of them, which she was doing.
I think the first ones, honestly, when they blew up the planet killer, that's when the Volons and the Shadows woke up at that point, saying like, "What the hell?"
Well, that's
right after that we see them take control of Lita, both respectively, and then put Sheridan and Delenn in that trance thing right after they destroyed the planet killer. So it's like they realized that. I think they realized when the first ones arrived, okay, these ants are starting to become a real issue that we need to deal with. We can't just focus on the enemy now.
Before we get to that whole segment, I want to wrap the Centauri back in here, because this is also when they said, we saw Londo come into Veer, and he said, and I want to hear all your guys' comments on this, but I'm just trying to outline the thing.
Yeah.
Londo says, I told the Vorlons that we got rid of them, blah, blah, blah. And then they have this exchange with Veer, and he's like, you got to kill me. And then they're like, oh no, they're coming. And then, they said that the Vorlons had called in reinforcements back at the main battle. Yeah. And then they leave Centauri Prime, they move on. And then of course they celebrate, they think it's a win, but they didn't know why it was happening. Anyway, so let's go around. Who did I not start with yet? Jeff, did you start any of the conversations?
I think we've all started at one time.
Yeah, okay. Snob, then. We're going to go to Snob, because he keeps on saying, well, you guys talked about everything. So, Snob, what do you think about this whole first
I'm just saying you guys covered everything. I'm not being...
well, let's have you do some work.
I'm not pissed about it. All right. All right, so what's the question?
Go ahead. We're covering the area of the battle, and then as it goes back to Centauri Prime, everything before they grab the brains of Sheridan and Delenn.
So on Centauri Prime. So I mean, it's a good scene. I wish they had taken it a little bit further, where Veer's pulling out a knife or something, and he's about to stab Londo, and he's like, and he's struggling with it or something like that. And then but they didn't let it go that far. They're just like, you got to kill me, and he's like, oh. And he's like, Veer, you can see Veer thinking about it. He's like dealing with it, but then it's like, oh, they're leaving. And he's like, oh, thank God I didn't have to go, get a knife or almost slit his throat or something like that. So, it's a reasonably good scene. You've got Londo and Veer together. They've got that, you've got to kill me. I mean, there's a bunch of guards around, just, you're the prime minister, order one of them to kill you. Like, don't make Veer do it. I mean, poor Veer.
Well, he wanted Veer
more than any of them.
he wanted Veer to take over and contact the Vorlons. He couldn't trust a guard just to be like, oh yeah, phone up the Vorlons. You know, he knew that Veer knew what was up.
No, get the guard to kill Londo. Or
No,
Londo can order the guard to kill him and then tell Veer, once I'm dead, go talk to them. You know,
I think
like
he trusted Veer more than any of them, so I think it had to be Veer.
Well, here's the thing.
No,
And if this was running both in their heads, Lady Morella's warning, you will both be emperors when the other one is dead. Londo's not emperor at this point.
I was going to say neither one of them are emperor yet. And
Maybe
that's
sitting
on my
in the
notes for
throne
later.
cabinet. Who knows?
That's on my notes for later.
So that's why Veer didn't kill him, because he's like, no, I got to wait till you're emperor before you die.
It might have been running through his head.
He's just he doesn't want to kill his father figure.
And yeah, he doesn't want to kill Londo.
Well, good points. I would like to raise a point that I think this was very skillfully done, is that the question of whether the shadows were really purged from Centauri Prime or not isn't answered, right? I mean, you know, we theorized, oh, maybe it's Londo, but we didn't know that for sure, right? Could it have been something else? Morden did refer to, you know, allies.
I'm pretty sure that they took out all the ships, because that's where.
Well, I know they took out all the ships, but
yeah, and then of course he took out Morden, but
yeah,
I mean by all rights, you know, Veer points out that's not all of them. There's one more that's been tainted by the shadow.
at least one more.
At least one more, yeah. And I mean, that's when Londo's like, "Oh crap, you're right. You need to kill me." You know, it's like,
Yeah.
And of course, Veer is the, you know, I think the most brutal thing he's ever done is with Cartagia, because it was in the moment and had to be done. This is one of those things where it got really close to the moment, and yeah. So
Yeah.
Well,
But you got to remember also, with the shadows, they have servants. We've already seen just one of them in the Bester, when Bester is doing the mind meld with his lover, and he sees that those things in his head drilling into his lover's head.
Well, we've seen a flash forward as well.
Yeah, and a flash forward too.
But the question is, those allies, those allies that Travis was alluding to. The question is, do they understand that the Vorlons and the Shadows have both moved on now at this point, or are they going to be lost? You know, are they kind of going to be lost because they're what they considered their father figures or have abandoned them now, so they want revenge, maybe. You know, that's a potential question for the future.
Well, Morden says as much, right? Snob, what did you want to say?
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, I was going to bring up what Jeff was talking about as well. There could be other, like, I mean, I would think that those races that were, you know, behind the shadows pretty strongly might be less so now that they're gone. They're not getting any direction or something, but there could still be remnants of them that are mad about it or still want to, you know, bring up.
You took away Daddy.
Yeah, and they're mad, or they want to bring them. You know, if they can't bring them back, at least emulate them somehow. But also, I mean, you know, even if you're blowing up all the ships on the island, I mean, there's probably, I mean, the shadows can't be seen by us normal people, right? Maybe there was a couple of them on leave. They could be, you know, eating ice cream in the Centauri capital or something. Like maybe they don't got them all, right? There could be some.
No.
You know, would you be there?
All of them have to leave. All of them.
Yeah, but I'm saying before that, you know, when he's blowing up the island, are you going to have, oh, let's put all of our guys in this one spot? I mean, surely they're going to have scouts around and that kind of thing. So I would think that when he blew up the island, there still would be other shadows somewhere else on the planet doing sneaky stuff.
No, I wouldn't think so, Snob, on that. For the reason is the ships themselves have pilots within them. Those pilots are not pilots that jump out and say, "Hey, let's go grab a beer."
They're integrated into the ship.
What about the guys that follow Morden around, though?
Morton is like the one that's running the show there.
Pilot.
Aren't there others like those that follow Morden around? That would
it depends on how many of them died in Zahadum.
No,
you have to remember, Mr. Morton was in the back blast of that, and you saw what he looked like. we don't know. We know what happened to Sheridan's wife because she was in the middle of that. She wasn't coming out of that one. And what is the older gentleman? I forgot his name.
It don't
That was
matter.
talking to Sheridan.
Yeah,
Justin.
Justin. Yeah.
Justin. Yeah, we don't know. We don't. From what it looks like, because so far we haven't seen him yet again.
That
So
city
we
was
assume that
destroyed.
anyone in that area in that
That
city,
entire city was destroyed. So it's obvious to me that Justin and all the other people there, since we haven't seen them, they probably died. Morden was, I think, probably far enough away that he just got caught in a blast and burned. And it doesn't surprise me that he's healed up. The way the shadows have experimented on humans, the way both sides have experimented on humans for so long, it doesn't surprise me that they'd be able to rebuild him probably basically from nothing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's got his hair back and he's got his, I was joking in the chat earlier. I said, well, yeah, they spent the budget on the space battle, so they didn't have the money for the makeup.
Well,
actually, the space
I would
battles
argue
look excellent in Blu-ray compared to my DVD version.
They look
I
good.
went back and looked at it because you could see more ships
Good on DVD.
from the shadows coming out. I mean, they're like whoa, on the Blu-ray version.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone have anything else to say about before we get to the whole?
Yeah, Cam, you were going to say that Morden is kind of styling his hair like Centauri's, right? You were going to mention that.
Well,
I noticed that too.
It was clearly very grown out. The whatever healing really accelerated his hair growth.
It just slipped back like it always been. I thought.
No, it was coming up a little bit. It looked like the Emperor a little bit.
No, I don't think so. Because remember, he was fighting the guard, so it got a little messed up. That's what I saw.
Yeah.
I don't think it was anything to do. I think that's kind of reading into it a lot, in my opinion.
I agree. Okay. Anything else, Madman or Jeff or Outpost about this scene? Or these two scenes?
I'm good.
Nope. Okay.
I loved it how Londo's first reaction was when he realizes what he's missed. He's like, "Oh crap, Veer, kill me!" He's like, he's willing to do anything, including now sacrifice his life for Centauri Prime.
Yep.
He's willing to go make the ultimate sacrifice, which I don't think we would have seen in the earlier seasons. We've seen him willing to do.
Okay. Now we've got the scene where the Lita, apparently makes contact, or they make contact with her.
Both. I think they make contact with her.
Right. And then they
got their
snag
attention.
they snag both Sheridan and Delenn. And we see them talking to avatars, I guess, of the race.
Yeah.
You saw it. The Vorlon is like in a frozen, a woman in a frozen kind of cube or a crystal
This
or
red
something like that.
thing on her neck that glows when she speaks.
Yeah. And
it was very different. They were two very different ways of
let's talk about explain that
go ahead.
because that's I think something we really need to talk about. That's
sure. Go ahead, talk about it.
I think the way they communicate, it's really reflective on the races and their ideology. The Vorlons, it's bright, it's almost pure crystal. And they think of themselves as the good guys, right? And the Shadow is very individual oriented, right? So Delenn is seeing everyone she knows. And do y'all realize this is the only time in this episode we see Franklin? Franklin was not in this episode except for this 5 seconds with one line to Delenn.
Yeah, Franklin and Garibaldi really didn't have much.
Garibaldi was not in it at all.
Right.
And I found that interesting. You leave out one of your main characters for the big climax.
Yes.
Sorry. Go ahead.
You make a good point, and the way they appeal to them is also different. Is
Mhm.
the Vorlons say, "Well, why are you resisting us? We just want to help you," kind of thing. And then they move, of course, into you'll obey kind of a mindset, but they start more
We've seen that
benevolent.
before.
Yeah,
Right.
Too, with them.
that's
It's
the
like,
whole
yeah, if you
thing.
listen to if you listen to us, then we're friendly.
Yeah, that's the whole thing with the Vorlons. It's like if you do what we're told, we'll be nice to you. And we saw that with Kosh in a lot of regards, where Sheridan started like with standing up to him, and Kosh would just lash out at Sheridan. And basically, like I remember that he took like psychically lashed out and cut Sheridan's face. It's almost like it's almost like slapping your child. Like, don't talk back to me. That's how I felt, and that's how I felt with this one. He's like, we just want the best for you, so you will do what you're told.
Right. Although Kosh did come around, and he, eventually apologized for that. So Kosh is obviously at a different level in
Yeah.
empathizing with the humans.
He's come to literally become a literal father figure
Right.
to
Mm.
Sheridan and humanity as a general rule. I don't. Yeah, he's not the controlling father. He's the compassionate father.
For his last appearance.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And then by contrast, the shadows are kind of more of a high pressure sale thing, kind of like, again, using people she knows to try and persuade her and cajole her.
Right.
What did you guys, Outpost, did you have any you said a little bit, anything
Remember
else?
the shadows too. They're like, you need to fight. We will make you fight because you will become out stronger. And they use history to try to persuade Delenn. They says, remember, your people came out stronger after the first war.
Right. Yeah. Imagine how strong you'll be now.
It's the idea that which is better, nurturing or suffering in regards to growth. This is how this, I think, how the Vorlons and the Shadows, their methodology differs. They want you, the Vorlons want you to grow through peace, experimentation, and all that, while the Shadows want you to fight and become stronger. Yeah. That's how the whole thing Justin was talking about.
Chaos and evolution.
Yeah, I mean that's the shadows are very much on like the whole process of evolution, and only the strongest will survive.
Yes, that's
that type of thing. Whereas the Vorlons are like, look, you need to be this way and act this way,
order and obedience,
order and be obedient and listen to what we're saying, and it's they're two different schools of thought. But the problem is they become so one track minded about that one school of thought each way that there's no gray area with them.
Yeah, remember
black or
Lanier
white.
said in a previous episode, he was like saying, both of these ideologies, being separated, it wouldn't work.
Well, maybe this is what they're trying to prove in this war between them. Which one of them will work? I liked how Lorien was able to kind of influence the scene by having everyone see the truth. Basically, all the entire fleet, all the aliens in the fleet.
Mm-hmm. I think that was very revealing.
Yeah,
because everybody got to see the truth of what was going on.
Well, yeah,
and they were going through.
Everything has been masked in secrets forever, right?
Yes.
They've always done this behind the scenes
for millennia.
Stuff. And so this is the trick that Sheridan pulled off here, right?
Yep.
It's really, I think, pulled the mask away from the Vorlons, because the Vorlons have always been thought of as the good guys,
right,
up until recently.
Well, and I still think of them generally as the good guys.
No, I don't think.
I think the problem is that they become so hardline one way that they don't allow. It's like okay, being a parent, you have to let your child fail. You have to let your child falter. You have to let your kid go out and skin their knee, or crash on their bike or whatever. All the stuff that that's what makes us learn and that
Yes.
grow.
But also you have to respect your parents as
Yes.
well. When
No,
you're young, you have to respect them and basically, do what they say to do. So
see,
you're
okay, and
talking
that's
at
what
that point,
shit-
and then you're talking on that. But a long time ago, the Vaughns and Shadows must have had it together to the point where it allowed that, and it was a balanced nature.
Yes.
this is where they've gone too far. The Vorlons and the Shadows, and what you just said, man. You're supposed to respect your parents, but there's supposed to become a time where the parents stop being parents, that they allow their children to stand on their own, and
They-
that is what the
they
Shadows
never,
and Vorlon have refused to
you
do.
never stop being a parent.
No,
But
no, no.
what you
That's not what I mean. You stop parenting. Not you don't stop being a parent. I should have said this. You don't stop being a parent. You stop parenting. Your children have learned enough to go out on their own and make their own lives.
you have to let them make mistakes.
You got to stop. You got to step back and
Yes,
yeah,
and that's what the
let them
Warlocks and
fail on
Shadows
their
are
own.
refusing to do.
Yeah,
And
that's a
remember,
problem.
that's what Lorian said. As I step back, you must
And
step
I stepped
back
aside,
as well.
so must you.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's true for just that's the nature of things. You have to let you have to make your own way. Yes, we're gonna have issues. We're gonna as a young, I mean, think about it, as a young adult, you're gonna make mistakes. Even as a teenager, you're gonna make mistakes, but you think you know everything. You're independent and this and that and the other. But if your parents don't let you, if you've got the helicopter parents, look what happens. We've seen that in society, what happens of where parents are very controlling and they always try and take care of you or whatever, and they don't let you make mistakes. But by the same token, you also see what happens when you have parents that don't care and just like let chaos be damned, let chaos reign and order be damned. Trust me, I've seen it. I've seen both sides of it. So in reality, so
it comes down to that they're both demanding that they obey, and then Lorian mentions, he says they want you to choose, and then they show up in projection or whatever, and Delenn, I thought, put it best in her scenes where she was like, well, what if kind of, no, we're not going to play your game, and Sheridan did too, but I thought Delenn's was stronger. But long story short, they say, no, we're not going to. We're not going to keep going along with this. And then they start firing missiles at them. And the point kind of was, yeah, you could kill us, but you can't force us into this.
You're gonna wipe everybody out, and then what's gonna happen? You're gonna be left alone, and there'll be nobody else here.
Right. And then Sheridan says, okay, you got to leave. And then Lorian and the whole thing says, their time is over. We'll go with them. And this is where you have this whole thing where the Shadow, or the Vorlons and the Shadow, in my opinion, is they at that moment they're kind of reduced to children themselves.
Yes, because they say that great line. It's like, "Will you go with us?" And he says, "Like I'm always." And Lorian's like, almost like, "I'm always here for you. Of course, I will go with you, and we will finally reunite with those who went before." It's like they're not going off to be alone. They're going off to reunite with their long lost family.
And all the other
the first ones are, the time of the first ones are over. I love Sheridan's line. I think it's one of the most iconic lines. Get the hell out of our galaxy. It's simple, and it's precise, and it shows.
Well, he also turns the questions on him too.
What?
Remember what he said? What he says earlier. He turns the question, asking, "You ask, who are you? What do you want?"
Well, yeah, he turns their ideology back onto them.
He says, "How can you teach something that you can't recall for yourselves?"
Yeah,
right.
He turns their ideology back on them and says it's time for us to stand on our own. Get the hell out of our galaxy. But it almost
we all know the truth.
It's almost like that falls on deaf ears almost, because I always felt like even after him telling the Shadows and Vorlons that, they're not going to do it until Lorian says, "Okay, yes, he's right. It's time for you to go, and I'm going with you."
But they had to come to that realization on their own.
Yeah, and
That
I
was
think
that
they
was
were
them achieving that last level of enlightenment, I
I
think.
think they were still on the on the ledge over, like they didn't want to take that dive until Lorian said, "Don't worry, I got you. I'm going with you."
Yeah.
Yeah, and Lorian says this is why we needed all of the other first ones, because
Yes.
this is
They all have to go.
all of them are going to go. But one thing I want to point out that Lorian said, he mentioned, there's this pass the torch kind of thing where he said, yeah, now it's your turn to take this place, and someday you will leave. Also, so it's not like, meaning this is a cycle that you have to bear in mind for the
Right.
future. It's not just, well, this is ours now and we're going to do whatever. It's like, yeah, you have to take the responsibility
Yeah.
also.
You're in charge now. It's your galaxy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go around the horn here so everyone can comment on this whole. I mean, this is it, right? This is the whole wrap up of the Shadow War, the conclusion of the Shadow War. So, Death Angel Shadow, let's start with you. Go ahead. And, what do you think about this resolution? Was it satisfying to you? Did you?
I think so, because what happened is, it's almost like Lorian is grandfather, to these,
Exactly what
and
yes, yeah.
yeah, and whereas the Vorlons and the Shadows see themselves as the parents, Lorian and his race, they were the parents to the Vorlon and the Shadows, and so it's kind of like even Lorian came to this conclusion that we need to move on and let them take over. And he also passed on this knowledge that, yes, one day it will be your turn. Make sure that you take care of and nurture these other upcoming, the younger races. So
Yeah.
hopefully that'll get ingrained somehow into the universe's history, or the galaxy's history, or whatever the case may be.
Mhm.
Yeah. Quick reminder. Remember Lorian when he found him? He said, I've been waiting for someone to come here, and it seems like is
I've
this
been
what he was
waiting for
waiting
someone to
for?
find me.
Yeah. Is so this could finally happen? Because he clearly felt that this was the right thing, and
Yes.
he allowed. Well, did he allow Sheridan to come to that conclusion, or did he come to that on his own? Or anyway,
I think
but this,
Sheridan came to the conclusion on his own, but he had to. You have reached the, because he said he gave a little bit of speech, and I don't remember verbatim, but it was basically, you have now reached that level of understanding, or whatever the case was, and now you need to pass this on and try to nurture the other ones that are coming up. So
Yeah. My views on this, I think it was such a surprise and great ending, because for a season and almost a season and a half, we've seen it go from a cold war to a hot war. But was it ever really a war of arms? It was never a war of arms, in my opinion. It was always a wars of ideology. It was a war of ideals, and how it was able to pretty. It didn't end with blowing up the Death Star or storming the beaches of Normandy. It ended with, you think this, you think, and the other guy thinks this. None of this is working. We need to do this. This will work for us. Get away. Let us do this. It's gone from arms to a war of ideals. So it had to end. I think it had to end this way, because throughout the entire episode and in the past, we've always seen how physically there was no way to win. There was no way to beat the Vorlons or the Shadows by means of arms. It had to end with a changing of the minds. So I think this was one of the most perfect endings that JMS could have. I think it's the best ending JMS could have thought up.
There's a great line in the ending on this with Sheridan and Delenn.
I knew.
It's a new age, Delenn, a third age. Why third? Well, we began in chaos, too primitive to make our own decisions. then we were manipulated by forces from the outside that thought they knew what was best for us. And now we're finally standing on our own.
Well, yes, I believe, we've seen the entire series in the opening credits. It was the dawning of the third age of mankind.
Right.
And we always thought, it was when the third age started when they went to space. I think it's honestly, this is the real start of the third age.
Mm-hmm. Well, in the credits, remember in the opening credits, what does Londo say? It's a new age in the opening credits. Because everybody has a line in the opening credits.
Literally it's the same thing I just said.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying it's in the credits itself in this season.
It's been in the credits. The third age has been in the line.
No, not the third age. I'm not talking about the third age. It's when he says it's a new age.
Okay, but that's the third age.
Well, that's the third age. Obviously, that's the third age. But I'm just saying, Londo mentions it in the credits.
So the whole show is basically this transitional period into it, right? I mean, that's what from the beginning it was the prelude to it, and now it's happened, right? At least as Sheridan identifies it, at least. Now, well, you bring up all kinds of things. I don't remember. I don't think that the Babylon 5 world is galaxy spanning, meaning the galaxy's huge, and I don't think
it's not. It's not.
What do you mean?
It's not galaxy spanning. Remember, they're always sending out ships to explore the rims, with the rims going out further. Every time. So they're all exploring, but it's set in our galaxy, but not the whole galaxy.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess all the first ones from all over the galaxy are gone, and there might be other people similar to.
Nope.
What do you mean? Nope.
Lorian has said it directly. There are no more first ones.
No. I understand first ones. I'm saying there are many other races that are on the same level of humans or Minbari, let's say, that might be throughout the galaxy that they haven't encountered yet.
Oh yeah, you're talking about more lesser, lower races, more like.
No. So one of the things that was pointed out is when they are leaving, they are going into the darkness between galaxies, the space between galaxies.
Quoting a great writer, space is big. You won't just believe how big and largely mind-boggling big it is. I mean, you might think it's a long way down the road.
Don't make me get my towel.
But that's just peanuts to space.
Don't make me get my towel, madman.
I'm sorry if I'm distracting from this, but the point I'm trying to make is if the shadows and they're setting this up as the galaxy is kind of the basis for the thing, and if the shadows and the Vorlons were only dealing with this small piece of the galaxy, and there's all these other races out there, maybe they're all underdeveloped. Who knows? Then it just seems strange. It's like, well, why wouldn't they have taken interest in them? And maybe this is beyond the scope of the show or whatever, but it just seems like kind of if I start to think of it, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
I don't think.
Well, it's happened in science fiction before. I mean, a quote on the end of season 1 of Blake 7, where basically they're at the edge of the galaxy, where basically beyond that they've never been to, and basically there are other races on the other side that are trying to break this barrier to get into our universe to that point. And there have been other novels and stuff like that similar to that they're races that are far beyond us and that we have not reached there yet.
I'm reminded of Sam and the Scarecrow in Lord of the Rings. He come up to the Scarecrow and he stops. He's like, if I take one more step, it'll be the farthest I've ever been away from home. Mm-hmm. So that's what it reminded me of.
That sounds very much like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, it's a scene and it's a part in the book. I've studied and taught the book, and I love that universe. Sorry.
What, the Lord of the Rings universe?
Oh, yeah, I love Tolkien. Tolkien is
okay. I thought you said Wizard of Oz. I was like, I think that may have been said in both.
I said Sam and the Scarecrow in Lord of the Rings.
Oh yeah, okay.
I think Cam is right. Hoodal is making the point here too. A lot of science fiction writers, not all but a lot, don't understand how big the galaxy is, and they just sort of hand wave it away. There's no way that the things that are depicted in Babylon 5, could only take place in a small, tiny portion of our galaxy. It can't be the whole galaxy. The humans are, we're not far enough. These, the Narn have, or whatever, the Centauri have 13 colonies down from 40 something. I mean, that's peanuts compared to the 100 billion stars in the galaxy or more. So I think we kind of just gotta go with it.
Suspend your belief in this regard,
or it's a really, really small galaxy. So I would I just
in all honesty, our galaxy is small by comparison to many others. So
sure.
There is this possibility of the future of humanity, thousands of years in the future where we are now, what they would consider the first ones,
Well, we'll get to that.
It's still 100 billion stars, though. I mean, like, it's still, you're right, but that's still really, really big.
Okay, Snap. So what do you? I appreciate your point on that. But what do you think about this whole, this whole concluding scene here with the Vorlons and the choice and all that?
Are you trying to get to what we were talking about offline?
No,
I know Cam's sort of thoughts about this, but
I'm just going through the end of the show.
All right, my initial thoughts about all this was, I mean, it seems like a fairly reasonable solution to this problem. I mean, you can't, the Vorlons. We talked a little bit about this. The Vorlons and Shadows fighting. You don't want them to fight too much, because if they hurt each other too much, they might just slink off, right? You need them there. You need to expose them. The fact that the truth is that they're basically a bad parent. There's been a number of cycles, and I think Lorian knows this. There's been a number of cycles. We don't know how many. Yeah, well, I think maybe they said 1 million. It's been 1 million years or something, but I can't remember. But there's been some number of cycles that have been going on where the Shadows and the Vorlons have split, and they've been going. They've been going at this ego thing, and so they're not really being good parents. They're not looking after their charges. They're trying to prove, as Sheridan says, that who's got the right idea and who's right, which parent. It's two divorced parents trying to prove, to the kids that no, my ideas are right and my idea is right. Well, they've totally lost the whole plot of what they're supposed to be as guiding and guardians. So they need to go, and they probably needed to go, thousands and thousands, maybe more years ago.
Yes.
And I think Lorian knows that, and he is working with Sheridan to kind of set this up in a sense.
You hit it on the head, Snob. In the fact that you said, hold on. Let's stop.
I am always right. So
no, you hit it on the head. Take the compliment, dude. You hit it on the head, and if they fight too much, one of them will slink away, because that's exactly what happened in the Shadow War 1,000 years ago. The Vorlon and the Minbari teamed up and beat the crap out of the Shadows to the point they slid back into Zahadum and just
right. So
and now we're seeing they recovered enough and hit it on the head with that. If they fought too much, and we're seeing the two titans fighting while the people are getting caught in the crossfire. So Sheridan wanted to stop the fighting, get their attention on us, so to save the innocents from these planets.
Yeah, Sheridan and Lorian, who's I think guiding him a little bit, they're setting up to win the war, not to win the battle, and to win all the battles in the future, and in fact to end this war so that the participants can never be involved in it again. So that's what's going on. That's why they're doing this. And so Cam's asking the question, if I'm correct here, what do I think about the solution to this situation within this science fiction universe? Well, I kind of, it would be difficult to have some other solution other than this, because the two sides have been shown to be very powerful and sort of undefeatable. So, I mean, could you do it? Sure, you could. You could come up with something, but the way it's been set up, it would be very difficult. So I wasn't as surprised per se as this solution to the Shadow War, because I'm thinking to myself, how else are we gonna, you've got to sort of get rid of them. You can't really defeat them. You've got to realize that they're being stupid and not doing their job anymore. And it's time for them to leave.
Hindsight right there. Come on.
What do you mean?
I think there you're right. I think we can all agree there was no way Sheridan and the Army of Light could have won by means of arm. So we didn't know how it was going to be concluded.
I'm not saying I knew it was how I was going to be completed. I'm just simply saying that this is the writer has come up with a reasonable solution to his problem, which is that these guys are too powerful and they need to be, removed from the situation, and that they've lost the plot. They shouldn't be there anymore. They need to be shown that, so they leave on their own and become, they're basically bad parents, and they need to go, they should have left the races, their children alone a long time ago, but they haven't. And
because their ideology, their ideology took over, and they forgot the original questions.
Ego wrapped up in their own ego.
One final thing I'd like to point out before we leave this scene, Lorian's line of how you'll grow if you don't kill each other first. So he's saying you're going to be able to grow, you're going to be able to do this, but you still have things you need to overcome, and it might be foreshadowing some things in the future. It doesn't mean peace is coming to the galaxy. We're not going to be all love, peace, man. It's still going to be hard work, and there's still a chance you will fail, just like the Vorlons and the Shadows had failed. He's saying, I want you to succeed, but remember, there's a chance you may fail. So that's how I felt like Lorian kind of wrapped it up. He's like, you're going to do great. Remember, you have trials and tribulations coming ahead of you. That's how I felt.
I think the key part of the plan is that all the other races are seeing the Shadows and the Vorlons for what they are and how they actually think about these races, and that's what turns the tide. So now everybody's basically pissed. Like, these guys think that they're our parents.
Still in the battle. I'm at the end when Lorian's leaving.
Sure. And then there's still, so he's showing, Sheridan's showing everybody, and they kind of have to leave because the idea is that no one's going to listen to them anymore, because they all, it's like you're 21 or 22 or year old adult who thinks, hey, I'm an adult now. I'm past the point of having to do everything you say, so I'm going to ignore you. I've finally matured enough to understand what things are going, and they might make mistakes and stuff, but they're past the point, and and I think the Vorlons and Shadows kind of realize that. They're like, okay, well, now we've been exposed. No one's going to really listen to us anymore. They've said so. It's not going to be like the way it is. We might as well leave.
I think if Lorian wasn't there, they would still keep fighting. I think it was Lorian being there and saying, I will move on with you. It gave them the comfort, and it allowed the Vorlons and the Shadow to kind of, oh my God, breathe that sigh of relief, get rid of that fear of being alone. I think this came down to two powerful races not wanting to be alone.
Do you wonder if they were afraid to move on themselves? And that's why they clung on to their ideology so hard.
That's what I'm meaning. They're afraid to be alone. Because remember, what did they ask? They said the Shadow, which I could not for the life of me find out who did the voice of the Shadow.
Morden.
Was it?
Yeah.
Was the guy?
Nowhere did I find that. I don't know. I couldn't find that on the wiki.
It sounded like Morden to me.
It sounded like Morden to me as well.
Yeah. And they ask, will you come with us? And he's like, of course. It's like the loving grandfather, like one of y'all said, the loving grandfather, like, don't worry, I got you still.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I think that was I had a little bit of a problem with that last part, Cam, with the whole, like, they're kind of, painted to be a little bit alone. Like, it seems like they should be mature enough not worry about that as much. But maybe there's some discussion about that with what Lorian is saying about how living and every forever and things turn to ash. It's a little bit. I mean, I think there's something interesting in there to look at.
Yeah. Okay. Anyone else have that? I do have a few, and let me say this, and then you go and see if anyone else. Londo and Veer, they have their moment, and they mention he's going to be returning to Babylon 5, and then Sheridan and Delenn, Madman, you said part of it, but the one thing I'd like to point out that Sheridan says is he says that he feels like the magic is gone.
That was Delenn, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, no. He said it. It was Sheridan that said that it feels like the magic is gone. And Dylan
She said the universe, the galaxy seems a lot smaller.
She did, but I think it was he said, yeah, he basically, so Sheridan said that it feels like the magic is gone, but Delenn says yes, but we can make our own magic and build our own, future, and now it's our turn to actually be, in control of our own destiny, basically, instead of having influence from these races that were locked in this
and stop being afraid of
diatomic
shadows.
and we could stop being afraid of shadows. Yes,
I mean that goes to like a primal fear of humanity, like of being in the shadows, not knowing what's around you. Now that basically the monsters are gone, we can grow even more now.
Yeah, and we'll it almost kind of leads up to something like a prime directive where, hey, we'll let you fail on your own. We're not gonna, but once you finally achieve a certain level of technology and advancement, we will welcome you in and help nurture you the way that the Vorlon and the Shadows were originally supposed to be. That's kind of the feeling that I got. Almost like we're setting a prime directive here. Let them progress on their own, and then when they achieve a certain level, help them progress even further.
Anyone gonna say nothing?
All right, that's it. Jeff just everybody.
I think there was one thing that we skipped with that revelation point when it came up to the that critical moment, and the missiles were getting ready to hit, and the Drazi ship flew through, and I think that was a big moment for the Drazi. I think that was an advancement for the Drazi themselves to realize that this was more important than our individuals selves. We had to do this for the greater good.
No, I think we've seen that episodes ago with the formation of the Alliance. I think that was them understanding the need for the greater good. That ship is more important than us. The people on that ship are more important than us.
For our own people. I mean, for the advancement of. Yeah, I mean, because remember, wasn't it the Drazi who are purple, green?
Yeah, I think that we don't usually we don't see that anymore. I don't think.
Maybe they don't. Maybe they've now progressed over that.
I don't think it's been enough time.
For them, it's a step. It's a step in advancement.
Well, that's
them as a lesser race, because I think the Drazi may be a lesser race than humans are at that point.
That's maybe racism, but I think that's what it is, Jeff. Is that's they're showing, that's the writer showing that yes, maybe these quote lesser races, the humans and Minbari and all that, are starting to, they're starting to expand their scope of how they see things,
right.
And they've taken a step of maturity. We don't need you anymore, and this kind of reinforces that because we're able to see the bigger picture. So,
yep.
Okay, is that Cam? Is that it? Did you want to talk about?
Go ahead if you want to kind of this is the wrap. I think we've covered the events of the episode. So if we want to have any additional discussion, feel free.
Okay. I mean, we don't have to talk about this. We could talk about it next week.
One night
The
of
wrap-up
happiness.
show.
Yeah, we could do that.
What do you think?
Do we want to do that?
I think we should. We should discuss it now.
Should do
if
it
we're
now.
gonna.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Cam and I were talking about this offline a little bit, and we wanted to put this out there. We think it's an interesting topic for the panel and for the chat. Your thoughts, and we kind of touched on this a little bit. What's your thoughts? What are the panel's thoughts, the chat's thoughts on how this crisis was resolved with the Shadow War? Was it effective? Did you find it disappointing? What are your thoughts on that?
I think it was very effective. Very
okay.
I think
Madman, go first.
Yeah, very effective to the point, because this is it wasn't how many ships they had, it weren't what type of weapons they had, the first ones and all that. It took just basically talking it out, just figuring out what the issue is in and putting it back right into their face, to that point, getting into their own heads, to saying, hey, listen, you've been messing up for who knows how long, and you've been continuing to do this. Get the hell out of here. We're done with you. We're not going to listen to you anymore. Everybody knows your secrets, so now we're not going to listen anymore. It's time you step aside. And it's like Lorian said, hey, listen, I step aside when it was time for you, and it's now your time. So let's get out of here now.
But shouldn't have they realized that a long time ago? If they're these smart,
they've lost their ways. To that point, it got to the point where they used to work together, and then their ideology just clashed. Together. So basically, they would just they got to the point where it's like order and obedience on one side, and chaos and evolution on the other.
All right, Jeff, and then Outpost. Your thoughts on this question?
If anything, I would have liked to have been a little bit longer drawn out.
That is a criticism. This whole thing, and there's nothing we can do about that.
Yeah, no. You wanted my opinion.
It doesn't mean it's not a valid criticism.
Yeah, I'm just saying. It seems like it was wrapped up too quickly, and I think it would have been better for it to have been, spread out a little bit further.
Jeff, no offense, but it was supposed to go the entire.
Oh, I understand that. I understand that. No.
Okay. Things were changed. Well, two reasons.
I understand.
Okay, but Jeff is talking about what was actually presented and what he likes and dislikes about it.
Oh yeah, no. I have respect
for
what
it. Could have been
saying.
something else.
Madman.
Matter.
Yeah.
Let him talk.
Yeah, let's let Jeff finish, and then Outpost go.
I'm just saying that I would have liked to have seen some more. I think it would have been interesting to get, as I mentioned in the chat a few minutes ago, a little more backstory about when the Vorlons and the Shadows split and diverged into their diametrical opposites. When one went this way and one went that way. What led to that? I think I'd love to read that. Somebody, Hoodal, just pointed out there was some fan stories. I'd like something on an official level, but I'm curious. We can learn from the mistakes of others, and obviously, I think that knowledge would be of vital information to the Minbari and the humans and all of the other races that were involved in this, to prevent a similar situation, because you could foresee 1,000 or 10,000 or 100,000 or 1,000,000 years from now, the Minbari going two different ways. So
okay, Outpost.
I think this was an amazing ending to the plot line, to this entire story. It showed another way of finding peace. It showed a unique ideal, like from what I've been reading. I was reading up on this. It's this whole idea is based off of I think it said Buddhist creation myth of the world being created out of chaos and light. Babylonian creation myth. I'm sorry, hence the name Babylon 5, of course. That the universe was born in the conflict between order and chaos. And this is JMS speaking. Hence, part of the reason I decided to name the show after Babylon. That's called research. It informs the show. To me, this ending allows for growth for everyone else, and allows so many doors to be open to allow the growth of the younger races. I don't like them being called lesser. If remember, I know we've called them lesser races or something. They're the younger races.
Younger ones.
And to me, in regards to what you said, Jeff, if you took it and started say giving the background of the Shadows and the Vorlons, that would change the entire dynamic of the story. That would, to me, would take the light off of where it should be in the growth of the younger races and put it in a place it doesn't need to be. I do agree with you. I'd like to know more of the lore, but it does the story. It would have taken this in the series. If they've done that in the series, it would have taken the light off of where it should have been, which is on the younger races. So that's my thought. That's my thing.
I'm sorry. Did Madman get a chance to say? I didn't. Madman, when you were saying,
he started. He was the first.
Yeah, but I want to respond to what Jeff said. I just want to respond quickly to what Jeff said. I understand you want to go back to looking at that, but quoting Zathras, the beginning, the middle, and the end of the story. There's no way going back to this, and for the reason is, a back episode with Franklin, where Franklin tries to save the child, but the beliefs of the people, they didn't allow him to put that medication. Imagine 2,000, 10,000 years ago, the ideologies of these first ones to the point. We wouldn't understand them. We wouldn't understand what their beliefs are, their religion, how they run their lives and stuff like that. That's something that is beyond, our knowledge to that point. Maybe in the far future, we'll understand that as, we go across the rift, but something to go back on that, I don't think that's something that point. We're moving forward, not back.
Great. I did want to just say that, if you do have something to say about how the show, these other things, I didn't mean to stomp on you to say you shouldn't talk about that. Feel free if that's, I just wanted to, Jeff had a different perspective outside of that is all I meant. Can I comment on what you just said, man?
Yeah, go right ahead.
I understand what you mean with that, but I kind of do agree with Jeff. Again, this is, the things that appeal to me, but like when we did see, the snippets of the past and Delen's mentions of how they interacted with them 1,000 years ago, the last cycle. And then we were told about the, this has been going on for millions of years kind of thing. I think it might have been interesting to illustrate maybe late, kind of near the end here, some kind of interaction with, some alien race and that the Vorlon to illustrate what they were about then. And maybe it's like, maybe they were cold and just like, hey, we tried to manipulate that didn't work and they died. And we just like, okay, we just move on. You see what I'm saying is it would kind of illustrate their failed mindset and how, and where they went wrong, because and now I'm kind of going into my part of it. I have to admit that I don't love this. I understand it was an effective story and I understand it. And the whole thing, like, growing up and moving beyond your parents and, that you growth and all of that. I get all of it. But I I I am very much left with the. It feels like the magic is gone. That's it's the way I felt when I originally saw it, and I feel even more so that way now. That this story, if I look back to season 2, when we're starting to like see, it's like, oh my god, this is like this epic thing, and then it kind of comes crashing down to. And again, I don't want to be too strong at this point, but Sheridan's speech was not unlike what you would hear from a teenager that says, I'm a rebellious teenager and get out of my life. I know what's best for me. And granting that is something that people have to do to grow up. I'm not denying any of that or that it's the story, but I just wonder if it could have been something else, more of a story of these people discovering. I guess what I'm trying to say is the Vorlons and the Shadows to me were turned into mustache twirling villains. That's just like, haha, and look at the kids are right. Which is I don't want to. It's the same argument I have against Harry Potter storyline. It just seems a little bit too. Trite. It's a word I overuse. I know it's just like it's just a little bit too pat or it's like, okay, this epic thing about galaxy spanning and the development of races and things turns into overbearing parents and petulant teenagers. And again, I know I'm overstating that, but that's just the feeling I was left with, that this majestic storyline came down to that. And I don't know. I just didn't love it.
Okay. And
just remember, this is the middle of the story, not the end.
And on that note, we'll just I was going to say we'll just end, but no, I think now that Cam is crapped on Babylon 5 from a high height, I think maybe Jeff, Outpost Nerd, and Madman anybody want to respond to that?
Like I said, it's the middle of we're at the middle of the story. We're not at the end of season 4.
We're at the end of the Shadow War,
only at
right? Which is what we've been.
You're just at the end of one of the plots, but you're not at the end of the story.
Right.
Yeah, I've seen the end of the story.
There's still a lot more to come. This
is the big.
So we don't know what growth.
Yeah, but I think this is the big. This is the big plot that we've been going through.
Yeah.
Like
you're right.
From the beginning,
thing,
really.
The big
plot.
The
Earth thing is kind of a sideshow.
No,
who gives a crap about somebody is that? Well, it is overall.
The Earth thing is.
I know that's what I'm saying.
Remember, the Shadows had influence.
But this is the big plot thread that goes through everything, and the fact that the president was assassinated and that stuff. That's all related to this. But this is the big point. I agree with that. Anyway, I'm getting comments on what Cam said. Do you guys want to? Anybody want to? I mean, if you don't have anything, it's fine.
Let's table that for next week. Because this is a good conversation on here,
and we're already at 2 hours.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
that might be
another 2 hours on this alone.
We could probably. I'm
shocked that Madman, Outpost Nerd, and Jeff are
all agree on that. We're willing to wait till next week.
And I'll tell you,
we just know how anal retentive you are about time, Snob.
I'm the one asking the questions, and we're already over, so it's not a big deal.
Now we need the Star Trek ending when it goes to be continued. Da, 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 da.
Yeah. You know what? Just the last note. I would just ask that you think. And I'm not trying to diminish anybody's enjoyment. Just think about that line about the magic being gone, and see if it applies. If you feel that at all. You don't need to answer now. We can talk about it later.
So now Cam and I were talking about this offline, and he brought it up, and I'm like, "Oh, you're taking the shine off of it." Yeah, great. But I actually think Cam has a good point, and I think it bears a little more. It bears some discussion and thought about it. All right. I was going to say, I mean, we normally do the armchair quarterbacking, but I think we kind of touched on that today.
Yeah, we did.
Yes, we did.
And we can do more next week if we want to. But I think we've pretty much touched on it, so I'm not going to bother doing that. All right. Any last points before we're going to do trivia and then close out the show?
Well, we got. Are
Do
we
our
going to do
rating?
ratings?
Her ratings.
Oh,
yeah.
ratings. Oh,
Literally.
okay.
Well, do
Let's
the
go around
do the trivia first.
No, let's do the ratings. No, let's do the ratings now.
Okay.
Let's go around the horn with the ratings. Outpost, Madman,
No,
Jeff.
go do me
We'll
last.
do
Do me
Outpost
last.
first.
you
No,
last.
Outpost
Do me
first.
last.
I want to go.
No,
last.
I always go last. So
I'll
No,
I'll go. I'll go first this time since I
All right.
usually go last. But okay.
you usually do the second ones, yeah.
Okay. Overall, I'll give this episode a 7.5.
Wow.
Are you?
the
Wow.
the Centauri stuff is a 10 for me. It's so good, and that's one of the reasons why I look at the other stuff and I'm so disappointed is because within the same episode I can see something that I absolutely love, and then something that leaves me cold in the
You
end.
are gonna fight.
So again, okay. So if I was to really look at it's not just what the end is. I don't think it's a particularly good presentation. You guys mentioned the space battle. I thought the space battles kind of sucked. They were worse than many other that we've seen. It was kind of shortchanged, and we already talked about that a little bit. It wasn't nearly as grandiose as I wish it was. I think it was weak in a lot of ways. Aside, I'm talking presentation, aside from content, it was kind of just like, oh, here it is, and we're done. I think it was weak in that part of it, but very strong on the Centauri Prime stuff. So I got to average it out.
All right. Madman, Jeff, Outpost.
No, I thought Outpost was going to go.
Just go.
He wants to go last. so-
Okay. Some disagreement with Cam on that, but we'll take care of that next week. I enjoyed the entire episode. It happens to be one of the best episodes of the entire series itself. It is in my top 10 wheelhouse for being one of the best episodes on there. I give it a 10 out of 10 on this because basically you're wrapping up everything. Considering that JMS had to rush this, he was able to finish this off properly. If you go through the history of TV shows on there, there's a great interview with Brett Spiner on talking on his cancellation of the TV series Threshold. How bad that they just had to wrap that up. JMS did a fantastic job in wrapping this up properly. And considering that this is, that this is not even the original scripting on there. It was supposed to go for the entire season 4 onto this point on there. So I give it a 10 out of 10.
Okay. Jeff.
Well, the bits on Centauri Prime were much shorter, I think, than the battle. The cutting was done really well, though. The splitting between the two things.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciated everything that Peter and his companions did in the Centauri Prime stuff. I thought that was excellent. I really, really, really loved the Minister of Intelligence. I thought his presentation was excellent in his interaction, and then Londo's response, of course, with him tearing apart the stuff. I think that was great. Like I mentioned before, I thought that I would have liked to have seen this stretched out a little bit longer. And I know we're going to get to it soon, but we still don't know what's going on with Earth. Everything that's going on with Earth has kind of just been washed aside. But overall, I'm going to give this a 9.5. So I think this was a really, really strong episode. This is probably among the best. I think I've only given one other episode a 9.5, if I recall. So, and that was the battle that happened previously. So the big battle. So yeah, I think this was good. I love the fact that the Drazi seem to have come to this realization that yeah, we've got to do something and stop this. We sacrificed ourselves in order for the greater good, and that seems to be a repeating theme with things. People, with we see it with the Narns, we see it with all the other, it's kind of a repeating thing throughout the series. So I am eager to see what's going on back on Earth, though. I think it's absence makes the heart grow fonder. Perhaps, I don't know. I hope so. We'll see how things go on from here.
They've been just chilling.
Just chilling, just chilling.
Yeah.
You know what
Outpost.
happened to all the all the shadows that are on Earth?
Outpost.
I think the conclusion to the Shadow War is one of the best, most unique ways a sci-fi show has ended a battle of that scale. JMS was able to just throw so many curveballs at us throughout this entire story arch that we thought this was, like I said before, we thought we're going through all these episodes thinking it's a battle of arms, like it's a traditional war, but no, this is a war of ideals, which is so much harder to defeat. You could destroy they say that you can destroy a body, you can kill someone, but you can't kill an idea. And it took words, not bullets, to end this war. I thought the Centauri plot points in the plot lines in this episode were damn near perfect. I thought that, like I said, Londo's reaction to learning the truth was, to me, one of his best moments in the entire series. It was the one moment we saw Londo actually lose control. It showed again Londo willing to make the ultimate sacrifice. We've seen him willing to sacrifice others, willing to do dirty deeds to get for the safety of Centauri Prime. But this was the moment where he's like, I'm willing to do the ultimate sacrifice. I'm willing to give the ultimate sacrifice for my people. I'm willing to give up everything I've ever wanted for my people. And I think just the choices Peter made were just amazing. My rating for this episode is going to be the highest I've ever given. I'm giving this episode a 9.5. It is the best episode, and this is the one episode I would have fought y'all to get on more than any other episode, because it's just so, oh my God, the twists and turns in this episode are just amazing. It proves how amazing of a writer JMS is, that he can just throw this curveball at us and have it fit so well. So a 9.5 from me.
All right. I'm going to give it an 8.
Wow.
I think I think the Centauri stuff is pretty good. I have to agree with Cam a little bit. The ending was a little bit. I mean, it basically comes down to rebellious teenagers and bad parents. It's a little bit unusual in that it's not something that's normally done. But
sorry.
It's
sorry.
a little bit.
I'm just biting my lip. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I know
Bite
we
your
were
lip.
talking about this another time.
It's a little bit. It's unusual. It's not something that's normally seen in science fiction, but it's not. It's not. I don't know. Did it really live up to the promise of what we built up? Now, perhaps it's part of our own fault. We built it up too much in season 2 and 3, where we've seen this epic thing and it ends this way. But I do agree that as I said earlier in the show, it is a reasonable ending to what JMS has laid out here. I mean, what else? It seems like what else could you do? You've got these two very powerful races and stuff. So anyway, giving it an 8. I think we can talk a little bit more about this next week The end of the Shadow War, was it a good end or not a good
You know,
end? Yeah.
One last note in terms of things to prompt discussion, it is to think about what Madman has said many, many times and is true, that and that Outpost doesn't like hearing, but Jeff did mention. So we've gone around with this the whole time. The point is the whole thing about if this was longer, if what we know did happen, could it have, whatever problems you might have with it, would it have been, do you think it could have been better if it would have explained a few more things? Or if you think it's perfect and say, no, my God, I'm glad it was brief in these areas. So I just think that'll be a good discussion for the wrap up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my personal view is that it's kind of, I kind of don't look at that anymore because we know that it was shortened and that, but I would agree that, yeah, if it had gone, the proper, if he had been been told, hey, you got 2 more seasons, like we told you, wrap it up in 2 seasons, he could have done he could have done what he wanted to do, and it would have probably fit together better. Now, that said, it still is still a much better science fiction show than a lot of the stuff that is out there, especially at the time. So, I'm a little bit, I can't be too.
Madman's pointed that out too,
Yeah.
That this was compressed and that there was a change in the network, that it was carried on and stuff like that. And I think that may have had some impact on the story. And I think it shows.
I think it had a lot of. It had a lot of.
Yeah, I think it shows. I think it shows, and especially in this season.
Just because Dave had asked in the chat, in the original scripting, Babylon 5 was gone at this point.
Right. Well, Mehmet, do you have on that whole issue of the original? I saw a rundown of it, but I'm not sure if what is accurate and what isn't there. Do you have a resource?
It's that book. You got to look up the book for it. There's a JMS book on there. If you can, it's like $60 for volume 4. It's either 14 or 15, which talks about this.
Okay.
And it does. Someone does break it down online on there
I think maybe we should do a little. We should do a little research and have a show.
Yeah, like a special episode.
Just about.
I'll see if I can pull it up again.
Yeah, what was supposed to happen somewhere near the end of the end of season 4, season 5, somewhere like that. Again, that'd be an interesting discussion.
Well, you know what, Mike.
It's just too much for
Sure.
The original thing was Babylon 4 was not supposed to go back 1,000 years. It was supposed to go forward to this point. Yeah. On there.
Oh, so Babylon 4 was supposed to be in the future, and
Babylon Prime.
Remember what Zathras says. He talks about the future. He ain't talking about 1,000 years ago.
Yeah,
right.
It's even still in the scripted.
I don't know if you guys. There has been some rumblings. I'm sorry, I don't want to extend this too much. There have been some rumblings about a reboot or a relaunch or whatever. Wouldn't it be awesome if they did maybe an animated show that was like the original script? I don't know if you guys ever read the original Star Wars script, like way back. It was very different, right? Luke Starkiller and all that stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of rewrites that were done.
Right. And but they did put out a comic version of that at one point, which was really cool to read. I mean, I'm not saying it replaces Star Wars or anything like that, but I would love to see the original script with Sinclair and everything be told in its original form, some manner.
The question is,
if you want to see the original Star Wars, well, actually you can't see it. There is a radio drama version of it with the additional sections of it. Like there's a whole, it's a fantastic section where Luke is talking to his friends. The wombat hitting the wombat in the corner. That type of situation.
Sure. Yeah, the one I have seen some on that. The one I'm talking about was like a way earlier script. Never filmed. Nothing ever filmed from it. Much earlier draft. But anyway, sorry for that.
No. We have an 8.5 by the way from Keith.
And just like Keith Studley has done. If anybody in the chat wants to put their rating and something like that, go ahead.
Hey Keith, if you ever want to come on. You can talk to Snob or Cam, or if you're afraid of them, which I would never be afraid of them, but reach out to one of the rest of us. We'll get you on.
Oh, you're not afraid?
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to the ether, aren't I? You're putting me back.
Cam hasn't been doing his job. Cam's sick.
Okay.
Ready
for trivia?
That's it.
Yeah.
Let's do trivia and then end off the show.
Trivia.
Let me just say one. Hoot Owl, if you've got, if you could contact me, if you're on Discord or X or something, just drop me a DM so I can DM you back. That'd be cool if you want to. All right, trivia. Let's do trivia. This week and answers next week. What does hell mean in Mambari? That's a good one. How many ships has Sheridan assembled for the stand on Coriana 6?
It's bigger than a bed box.
You don't have to give the exact number. It could be like about this many or whatever. How does Sheridan say, "Morning, gentlemen, this is your wake-up call"? Sorry, who does Sheridan say, "Morning, gentlemen, this is your wake-up call" to? What race of ship takes a missile to protect Sheridan's ship? I think we already answered that question. And how does Veer react to seeing Morden's head? Kind of answered that one question too. All right. Okay, very quickly, what's going on? Let me turn this off. What's going on in the other...
wait, breaking news for Jeff.
Jeff's breaking news?
U.S. soccer team defeats Bosnia-Herzegovina.
Woo!
2-0.
But also, again, why the hell did this happen in New York? No.
Independence Day special Sunday.
Oh,
Oh, stir my ears. Then.
Sorry, I was trying to.
All right,
to do my.
We also got this one too, which is the official.
That's
one.
the official. Yeah, that's my thumbnail.
The official one. So what's going on?
So we've got a whole Independence Day celebration going on. We're going to have subscriber giveaways. We're going to have some special guests, people dropping in and out throughout the entire evening. This is going to be Sunday, July 5th. That's the day after Independence Day, of course, but we are celebrating Independence Day, which means independent publishers, that I've got a whole bunch of stuff to give away. So if you're not already subscribed to the Bad News Bards, go ahead and subscribe to the Bad News Bards right now. And then join us on Sunday. We're going to be an hour earlier, starting at 8 o'clock. And normally we're at 9 p.m., but we're going to be starting at 8 p.m. this Sunday. And I've got a bunch of stuff to give away, man. I've been collecting stuff. I've got I've got 2 signed and numbered prints to give away. I've got a hardcover copy of Horde Wars. From Blackwall Games to give away. I've got 3 adventures from Hyperborea. 3 Hyperborea adventures to give away. I've got a couple of PDFs to give away from Matt Finch, the godfather of the OSR himself. Should have some stuff from several other people, Arduin, the Emperor's Choice guys. A whole bunch of stuff. So you do have to be a subscriber to win, but that's free, man. It doesn't cost anything. And tune in 8 o'clock Eastern time. Sunday.
All right. Epos Nerd.
I am going to be reviewing the new trailer for Lanterns. It just dropped recently, so check out for that. And I'm still trying to find the movies I want to review for my new show, Popcorn Bucket Hole, where I take some of the worst rated Rotten Tomato movies and review the hell out of them. So check them out. Keep an eye out for it. And I might do a pop-up thing maybe Friday or Saturday for the 4th. So keep an eye out.
Cool.
All right. Man.
Yes. Next week. Well, we're going to be a little light this week and next week because of the holiday. Next Tuesday, Batman Cafe Live, we're going to be talking about the Vigilante movie, Citizen Vigilant. That's been making all the waves on the internet right now. I've seen it myself. I hope the rest of the crew have seen it so far on that. Also, we're going to be talking about Miss 45 and Death Wish on top of that. And then, of course, the box office, the big winners and losers this weekend, which we know Supergirl's about to
Supergirl is great, right?
On that Minions versus Toy Story this weekend.
Amazing.
Yeah. Yep, that's
It's
3
the
p.m.
bestest film ever.
Girl
And if not, you're a
power.
misogynist that you hate everything.
Mhm.
And yeah,
Yeah.
sorry.
And next couple of weeks, we will be talking about the whole Sony PlayStation situation of physical media, Comcast split, and also this weekend
Yeah.
till Monday, from here till Monday, shopcuticast.com, our t-shirts on there, 15% off for the 4th of July. Use promo code 250BDAY. That's right. You can get an additional 15% off on our Stay Curious, Stay Informed, Stay Mad, and everything else that we're selling on the site right now. So do check it out, and you have until July 6th.
Sweet.
All right. And don't forget to check out Jason's show. Couldn't make it today, but live from the bunker, normally 1 p.m. Eastern during the weekdays. Does anybody know? Is he doing shows this
He's back. He is back.
He's back
He
soon?
wasn't going to do something today. He most likely tomorrow or Friday.
Yeah, so put your notifications on and check out his show. He always talks about pop culture, science fiction type stuff. He's got some good shows. Check him out. And I will also mention Dean, who couldn't make it today because he's got a big thing going on. He's released his tester level 1 rules for his for Untold Destiny, and it's out. And I believe he crossed over 100 downloads. I think he posted that up a couple hours ago. So in less than 24 hours, he had over 100 downloads. So that's great. People are getting into it. I've played it myself, and I enjoy it. It's fun. And I don't really like medieval type RPGs. I kind of go for the science fiction ones and stuff. But anyway, great fun combat system. You take a lot of the problems that people complain about with D&D have in the past. He solves them. Oh, I'm getting a little feedback there.
Yep.
Somebody mute themselves. All right. Anybody? Did I miss anything with Dean's? I know some of you guys are. Cam, do you have anything else to add about? A little bit more than me.
He's significantly over 100 downloads, but yes, he's doing very well.
Okay, great. So go check it out if you're into any of that stuff.
And
of course, this show, he's just been busy. Can't come out because he's been busy doing it with his release. And of course, this show every Wednesday, Babylon 5, now at 10 Eastern. Then it says down there, and of course, Top Lofty Lounge, which is at 11 Eastern on Sunday. And we don't have a topic yet, but I have a topic in mind, but I got to talk to Cam about it. So I'll talk to him, and I'll put that up. And join us for that show. Cam, is there anything that you want to
add? Nope.
All right. Happy Canada Day, everybody.
What is that?
And
it used to be a country.
Canada. It's the 4th of July for Canada.
It's the day they celebrate maple syrup harvest.
When is Alberta? When is Alberta Day?
I'll put it
soon, hopefully.
I'm waiting for Alberta Day. I want to come up there and celebrate Alberta Day with you, Stomp. I promise you.
Well, Alberta Day,
I will join you. I will bring some American beer to give you a great night.
I don't know. Don't bring that piss water. Bring the good stuff.
This is not piss water stuff. This is Yingling, dude.
No. What percentage is it?
All right.
It's less than 5. Okay. Anyway, Alberta joined Confederation in 1905, so I think it's July 1st, 1905. But anyway, is Alberta Day. So happy Canada Day to everybody. And hey, hopefully we'll see you on Sunday.
Happy 4th of July.
You guys, happy 4th of July this Saturday.
I guess I should say happy 4th because
250th.
You guys are always trying to steal our thunder, right?
250. You guys are old.
You guys decide
we were smart enough to throw off England a lot sooner than y'all.
But they picked.
Yeah,
because Eurovision is moving back in.
We never threw off England. What are you
they made Thanksgiving October 30th or some crazy shit, and then they have like their Independence Day, which is not really independent. Canada Day on the 1st of July.
Okay.
All right.
Copy.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
It's great, everybody's. So, an
I love
American
Canadians.
explaining Canada.
I really do.
Okay.
Yeah, an American explaining Canada.
Oh, excuse
Awesome.
me.
All right. Good night, everybody. See you next week.
Later.